Hi there, this is Bridget from the Planner Speechy. Welcome. Today I'm going to be planning for the last 3 days of April in my Caress Press or Estelle. I'm going to be using this kit from Pink Planner Shop called Nurse. I did print and cut this myself, so any discoloration or jagged edges, that's on me. I am having a surgical procedure done this week, and so I wanted to reflect that in the art that I chose. This is definitely an older sort of style for art, but I really liked the colors, and I like the black and white sort of Dalmatian pattern throughout. So yeah, we've got solids. I like these patterns. I think they're kind of fun. Got littles, more small things, some deco, some headers, an extra scene. And then I did print this custom from Scribble Prints Co. I didn't print it, she printed it. I picked the color. This is Doodle 1 and Doodle 2, and it's a new thing that she's offering, and I did a whole sticker haul about these. You can check that video out up above. And then I thought I would do something a little different. So I have this black, I forget the font color. It's like black checker or something like that, but it's a bundle from Scribble Prints Co. I think it's confetti. So these are the underlays, and then you've got some scripts and icons, and it's really hard to see sort of the black hexagonal pattern. It's very subtle. I mean, it's mostly black, but you can see it a little bit. There's a little bit of checker. And I thought that I would accent it with these underlays in Pixie Rose from Plannahannah. This is called Pineapple. So I did have some extra pages in Pixie Rose from a bundle I used over Christmas. So I have some additional icons and scripts to include with the black. I also made a custom multi-script, which I'm not going to show yet, but anyway, so I am going to speed things up and come back in a voiceover. Hi guys, so this is going to be kind of an emotional plan with me. This is your trigger warning right now. I'm going to talk about surgery and fertility and infertility. So if these topics make you uncomfortable, I totally understand, and I'll see you the next time. So this is kind of tricky for me to say, and just be gentle in the comments. I will block you if you are rude or say anything ridiculous, so just bear that in mind. But I have been dealing with unexplained fertility for several years, and a lot of the procedures that I haven't talked about are related to that. So my doctor suggested that we rule out something called endometriosis, but that's why you've been seeing pineapple underlays everywhere, because pineapples are sort of the symbol of like infertility. And these little black dots are actually symbolic of endometriosis, because that's what they look like on scans. They're like these tiny little dots. So this is a disease where like endometrial tissue grows outside of the uterus, and it can be very painful for a lot of people, but it can also be silent endometriosis, which is when the only symptom you have is infertility. So the only way you can conclusively diagnose it is through surgery. And so I made the decision to go for this surgery so that we could rule this out or rule it in. And that just required me to be put under. They stick a camera inside and take a look, and then if they find anything, they ablate it or excise it, which means they just get rid of it. So that's what was happening this week. So Monday and Tuesday were regular days for me. And so I ended up having this surgery on a Wednesday. So I took Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off to recover. Because even though the anesthesia wears off after about 24 hours, you still have stitches in, And actually, I would end up having stitches in for well over the allotted time because of some issue with my doctor and suture kits and all this other stuff. So good times. But anyway, so I didn't use this kit for other surgeries because the other surgeries were very, very light. This one I had to be under for a substantial amount of time, 2 to 3 hours. So that's why I'm using it this week. But I actually really like the pineapples in this rose gold foil. I think they really are stunning. Um, and I think the last couple of times I used like lavender foil and other things, and I think this is the best that they've ever looked. Um, but I liked using this combination of like black with the light pink. I thought it was really striking and pretty. Um, so this is me laying down the base. I did record a live day by day, but I decided I was talking too slowly, so I thought I would re-record it here. But yeah, so basically, this plan with me is going to be tough for me, so I'm just going to share what I can and go from there. Um, and I, man, I really struggle with these sidebars because the lines don't match anything that I want to put on there. And so it's making me think about whether or not I'm actually going to do crust press inserts again because I just don't like where the lines are. They don't make sense. Um, I sort of tried to color block, but because I was doing multiple days over multiple columns, it didn't really work out, and I actually messed up. I was supposed to use dark black on the beginning of Wednesday, and I sort of forgot. So, whoops. But and you can't really tell the black headers are on there until you zoom all the way in, but it's really okay. I think that's just the nature of glitter headers, you know? But yeah, so I tried really hard to be careful about placement and stuff. But this was a crazy first couple of days. The other thing that I did, which was a little silly, I had my annual physical doctor's appointment scheduled during my spring break, but we ended up going away that week. So I rescheduled it the day before my surgery. So I had to fast for 2 days in a row, which was kind of, I guess, good leading up to the surgery. Because if you've never been under anesthesia, um, it's kind of a shock to your system. And so your body doesn't let you go to the bathroom regularly for like a couple of days. So, and they recommend fasting in case, something goes wrong, because they're in a sensitive area anyway. All of that area down there isn't just endometriosis, can affect your digestive system as well. So there's a lot, there's a lot happening there. But anyway, so I had my annual physical the day before, and then I had and I had to fast for that. And I was getting calls from my doctor. So it was kind of a crazy couple of days. That monthly script is from Carly Plans, and I did have a custom um, script made from Plana Hannah, and I'll tell you when I'm using which shop. But I had lots of icons to work with because I had the Pixie Gold or Pixie Rose, excuse me, and then I had the bundle from Scribble Prints Co. And then I had my customs, so we have a lot to work with here. So let's get started. On Monday, I woke up and I was really stressed out of my mind. I think it was just anxiety about all the upcoming procedures, about getting all my paperwork completed leading up to the procedure because I didn't know how out of it I was going to be. The other thing is I have had a laparoscopic surgery before. I was 25 and I had something called a dermoid cyst, which is really kind of gross. It's almost like a teratoma. It's a cyst that can grow its own like hair and teeth. Mine didn't have teeth. But so they had to remove it. And after that, I really couldn't move my core muscles for a few days. So getting up and down was really painful. Walking around was painful. So I didn't know how much of this was going to be impacted this week. So I kind of tried to prepare for all eventualities. I had a really hard time getting this box on straight. So anyway, I did do speech therapy all morning. Monday is a pretty heavy speech therapy day for me. I have most of my sessions on Mondays and Fridays this year for some reason. So, but I use this really cute Lego and Play-Doh icon to mark that because I do pediatric speech therapy in the schools, and I do use Play-Doh and Legos now pretty frequently. um, I did have to pay a bill. These surgeries are very expensive, even if you have insurance, and you don't just pay one person. You have to pay the doctor, you have to pay the facility fee, you have to pay the anesthesiologist. So altogether, I think this surgery came out to about $2,000 after insurance, and I have very good health insurance through my husband's work. So, this was not an easy decision to make to not only have this procedure, but also financially have this procedure. Um, and it just stinks that this is a condition, endometriosis is a condition that women face opposition from their doctors for because it's really hard to prove that you have it, and women's pain is often ignored. So, um, to add insult to injury, you have to pay a ton of money just to diagnose the disease in the first place, which is silly. Um, so then I did do my session notes. I used that little meeple. I didn't play any games or anything. I just thought it would be a cute way to mark that. And then I had to do some additional paperwork on top of my session notes. I've been writing reports. I've been doing evals. We're getting to the end of the year, so I'm trying to finish all of that stuff up as quickly as possible. And because I was going to be out, I was like, I have to forward, I have to do all of this stuff that I may or may not be comfortable doing on Thursday or Friday. So I came home and I watched Mad Men with my husband. So I used a little TV icon from the bundle to mark that, and I just wrote Mad Men in. Um, we watch Mad Men probably once a year or every other year. It's just such a good show. I actually bought it on Apple for $40 for the entire like series. Um, so I thought that was a good deal. And then I just used a with Frank sticker to mark that I had dinner with my husband. So then on Tuesday, I didn't buy coffee, but I made coffee at home. So that coffee icon is, and I had to fast this day, so I made coffee and then I had peanut butter on toast because I couldn't eat anything after 6 a.m. So I got up early, I ate a pretty healthy, filling breakfast, and then I had to fast for the rest of the day. So that coffee sticker is from the Pixie Rose bundle leftovers, and then the coffee icon is from Scribble Prince Co. Custom. So I did have to fast, and I sort of had to fast for 2 days in a row. It's not that hard, but I gave myself the little trophy icon for that because it's not easy to fast when you're hungry. Um, so I think this font is font choice 15 from Plannahannah. It's very big. It's probably the biggest font I've used in my planner all year, especially when you look at and it really depends on what scripts you're using, because if you look, like, the speech therapy script is much smaller and it's the same font and it looks totally different. So I did do speech therapy. That is from Carly Plans. That's font choice 1 Duo. So I have my speech therapy sessions in the morning. Most I finish most of my therapy by noon on Tuesdays, and then the rest of the day is really for evaluations, observations, paperwork, talking to families, talking to teachers. And then I have one therapy session in the afternoon with 2 students. But I did do a speech eval, actually did 2 speech evals. Afternoon, and I did an observation. And the funny thing was, we were going to have a fire drill. You can pretty much count, if you work in a school, you can pretty much count that you are going to have a fire drill the last week of the month. And most schools will do it like on the Friday of the month. So this school chose to do it on a Tuesday. But right as I was about to go pick up my students, I got a call from the doctor, my doctor, who's going to be operating on me. And he asked if I had any questions, and I did. And I got to talk to him, and it was a really good conversation because I was a little confused about what kind of a like surgery he was going to do if he found endometriosis, if he was just going to ablate it, which is like when they burn it away with a cautery, or if they excise it, which is to physically remove it. An excision is the gold standard, but some surgeons don't do that. And he was like, no, no, no. If I find it, I'm going to cut it all away if it's severe. So that was really good. So then I went to my doctor's appointment, which was at 4 in the afternoon. I get out of school at 3:50. So I had to hustle over to my doctor. And I hadn't had a physical, I didn't have a physical last year. So she was super nice, and they they ended up cleaning my ears, which is really weird. It's like your head's going through a car wash. So, but that was, I mean, I'm glad I did it. But then I went home and I packed a bag for the hospital. I packed some extra clothes, some like disposable underwear, comfortable things, uh, my Kindle, all that stuff. And then I had to shower with this very specific soap. It's called Hibiclens. You can get it at any pharmacy or Target, but they were very specific about how I had to wash myself and how long I had to wash myself. And I had to shower the night before the procedure and the morning of the procedure. And we had to be at the hospital at 5:30 in the morning, which meant I had to get up at 4 a.m. to shower. So that sucked. But we went to bed super duper early. I think my husband went to bed at 7:30. I went to bed at like 8:30. Um, and I was very nervous about the whole procedure. Um, so now we're at the actual day of the procedure, which was Wednesday. So Wednesday, I marked a couple of things that were irrelevant to the surgery, but not irrelevant to me. So the first thing I marked was that it was our payday, which was really exciting. I only get a paycheck once a month, and this is my second to last paycheck for the entire school year. I don't get paid over the summer, contrary to popular belief. People are like, oh, teachers get off over the summer. Yes, but we also don't get paid. So it's not really being off. It's more like you have a job, but for 3 months you can choose not to work or to work. So it's a little different than like being paid and having time off. But I used this little cupcake from the Scribble Prints Co. custom bundle just to mark that I got paid, which is nice when you're about to drop $2,000 for a surgery, which I'd already paid for in advance. I also marked that I took the day off, and I used this little clock from the bundle as well, the Doodles bundle. I was, believe it or not, very anxious about this whole thing. It's hard to shift from being in control to not being in control, especially in a medical setting. The thing I was most anxious about was the IV insertion because I have a pretty high pain tolerance. I'm not afraid of needles at all. Um, but putting in an IV for me is really painful. I don't have great veins. I'm not an easy stick. So I researched, what do people do for this? And you can request lidocaine. So the thing about lidocaine is it will numb the area, which will make it less painful, but it is 2 sticks. So if you don't like needles, it's an extra needle. But that doesn't bother me. So I was going to ask for it, and I didn't want to be high maintenance. I wanted to be the good patient. I think all of us who have to be in a medical situation, we want to be good. We want to be liked, especially for women. Um, and that can cause a lot of issues. But anyway, so we checked in. We drove. My husband drove there. It was 5 in the morning. We did not have traffic, thank goodness, but we took the express lanes the whole way just because. Finding the hospital was a little challenging because there were several entrances, and some of the entrances were marked in Google and some of them weren't. So we ended up getting there right on time, but it was like a little crazy. I just marked that I was a brave bitch because I was. It's not easy to do this, and the fact that I wanted to mark that in my custom when I had this made like several months before I actually had this procedure is crazy. So I had some very, very nice nurses who were super nice to me, especially since I couldn't go to the bathroom. They wanted to do a pregnancy test, ironically. So as soon as we checked in, I was like, "Listen, can I just give you the urine sample so I can like sit down?" And they were like, "No, no, no, we'll take you right now." So they took me right away. They let me go to the bathroom. I got my lidocaine shot. The nurses were so nice. The doctors came in and talked to us. I changed into my gown. They did everything they were supposed to do, and my husband sat with me in this little room. It was an outpatient surgery hospital, so it was basically designed for people to be shuffled in and out of there. But the facility was really, really nice. Everyone was really great, and I felt safe, and all of that was good leading up to it. So I talked to my doctor. I had the surgery, and then um, I started to come out of it in recovery. And the doctor talked to my husband and then talked to me, but I was still coming out of anesthesia, so I really didn't know what was going on. I think I had dreams, but I don't remember any of them. And I didn't have too much of an effect from the anesthesia. So, here's the thing. They didn't find any endometriosis. And I was disappointed. It's weird to be disappointed to find out you don't have a devastating disease, but what that means is that my infertility is still unexplained. We don't know why it hasn't worked, and that was really, really frustrating for me. Now, at the same time, I was also trying to be super grateful that I did not have this debilitating condition because it doesn't just affect your fertility, it affects every other part of your body. It's very painful. Um, and so I was grateful to not have it also in that moment. So my heart goes out to you if you do have endometriosis or if you have unexplained infertility, like I'm in the boat with you. Um, so I was in recovery. I was still a little out of it, but I didn't have a terrible time with the anesthesia. I had the nicest nurse ever who helped me change into my normal clothes, and she gave me like a pad to wear. And she was so nice. And I was like so out of it, and she was so great. And then we came home and I fell asleep on the couch for about 2.5 hours. I just went right to sleep. Like the anesthesia kept me out of pain, but it courses through your system. And I was worried that I had already set up the couch with a bed sheet on it, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to really sleep or relax because I'd be in pain. I wasn't in pain. I really felt okay. Um, so eventually we did have lunch. Um, my husband was going to order McDonald's, but I actually felt a little funny. And so I was like, I just want a turkey sandwich. So he made me lunch and we had lunch together. Um, and he had taken the day off to help me with recovery, but he works from home. So I think he was working a little bit. I did buy some stuff. There was a sale going on at Scribble Prints Co. For her anniversary sale. So I bought a bunch of things, and I'm still waiting on that order as of May 17th. We watched Mad Men when I was awake, um, and I wasn't really in a lot of pain. I can't find my cross stitch stickers. I don't know where they went. I had a ton of them, so I'm probably going to find all of them at once, but I did have them. And so I ended up using this sticker from Stick with the Plan Co., which is a girl on the couch with a laptop on her lap. I did not have a laptop on my lap. I didn't have anything on my lap. I couldn't even let the cats sleep on me because I was worried they were going to poke at my stitches, which was kind of sad because I love cuddling with my cats. But I did cross stitch for like several hours while we watched Mad Men, and it was just kind of a relaxing. I was still really upset about the non-diagnosis because I felt like, what did I do? I just put myself through an expensive surgery. I put myself through um, the risk of having scar tissue and things going wrong. Like, why did I do this? What was wrong with me? And the thing is, the doctor explained to me later. He said, listen, if you have endometriosis, we're going to go down this path. If you don't have it, we're going to go down this path. But we don't know at this point what to do. So we have to do this. I didn't call my parents. I texted them just to let them know that I was okay. Um, and I did take some vitamins, which I hadn't been allowed to take for 2 weeks because they basically took me off of everything before the surgery. So I was able to take all my medications. My husband actually went out and got my meds from CVS. They gave me codeine, which is like Tylenol 3 plus something else. I took exactly one of these after surgery and never again. I didn't take any other painkillers. Um, but I did have stitches in me, so I had to be careful about what I wore, and I had to change the bandage. I got a call the next day from the nurse, saying asking if I was okay and everything. Then that's a Thursday thing, so you'll hear about that on my other plan with me. But yeah, so that was kind of it. That was my experience. Um, and so hopefully I don't have to have another surgery like this ever again. But I'm also hoping that in like as the doctors learn more, we get some more answers. So now I'm just laying down the deco from the kit to fill in the top. And there was some really cute deco for this. I tried to put in some of the like black um, little icons left over from the bundle, and it just looks super cute. I love how it came out. Um, this is a really nice kit to use if you are either having a surgery or if you know someone who's having a surgery. I had a lot of stickers left over. So this is all the stickers I had left over. I printed this kit myself. I didn't use like any little things because I only used like half a week's worth of stickers, so I had a lot more space. But yeah, and then this is what's left of my foil bundle. So I just had a couple of underlays left. Oh my gosh, I'm actually wearing the outfit that I wore from the hospital. I think I wore those clothes for like 2 days. But I'm going to save those black scripts because they're super useful. And then look at all of the icons that I still have left over. So I'll be using these icons like for a while, I think. Um, and then these are the doodles that I had left over from this week. I actually used these the following plan with me for the rest of the week. So the like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday plan with me, which is coming up next. And then the remainder of those are now in my reusable sticker book. So you can see this is the full spread. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really good rest of your day and stay tuned for more Plan With Me's. Take care. Be healthy. Bye.